reform, advocacy, progressiveness,
radical,
solidarity,
ally, radical ally. And you're listening to Radical Ally, your go-to podcast for resources, community affairs, social services, social justice issues, environmental and health well-being, and more. I am your host and ally, Grace Alcantar. And I want to just thank you guys for joining me today as we continue to navigate this current pandemic. We also continue to deal with some of the effects of the pandemic. And as of right now, many people still continue to be unemployed. Some people are finding the positives of this, but at the same time, there are also a lot of negatives. And so I want to offer my advice, my support, especially as you navigate the unemployment process. Some of you have already applied for unemployment compensation, and some of you have also recently even been laid off from your job as well. So I want to basically tell everybody that it's never too late to apply for unemployment. If you think you don't qualify, it doesn't hurt against you if you do apply. You never know. So my advice would be to just apply and see what happens. And the fastest way to do that is still to do it online, to go on the EDD, that's the Employment Development Department website, and apply directly online. You can also do this over the phone, over your smartphone, using the EDD app, so you can do that as well. If you don't have internet access, I recommend going to a copy center, a place like FedEx, and you can also use a computer there. I know it might not be as secure as far as inputting personal information, but it definitely is another alternative if you don't have internet access at home. The other thing you can do is call 211 or go on 211.org just to find out if there are any one-stop centers. One-stop centers actually offer employment services, so they do and should have computers available, hopefully at your convenience, so that you can go online to apply for unemployment. I don't want to get too much into the process of unemployment, but one thing to remember is that once you do submit your application online, you should be getting a letter. And with that letter, you will be given an employment number. And so you want to keep that number, keep all that information with you on hand. The award letter will give you the information as far as how much money you will be earning a week through unemployment. And also, the other important thing to keep in mind is that you want to register for Cal Jobs right after you get that employment award letter. Register on Cal Jobs so that you can keep your unemployment up to date. Basically, with the process of unemployment, you have to be currently searching for work in order to, to be eligible for unemployment. So go on that. And also you want to call B of A, Bank of America, to get your EDD card. Unemployment will not send you a check via mail. You will be getting the funds or your compensation on a card, an actual credit card. And this is through Bank of America. The number to call is 866-692-9374. Again, that's 866-692-9374. You can talk to a live person, and you can also go on the Bank of America website at the EDD portion and get your card that way. And what happens when you have already applied for unemployment and you're just not getting any compensation, or you're just having a hard time receiving compensation, or you're having other issues with unemployment? Well, you'd have to talk to a live person, and the number to call is 833-978-2511. That's 833-978-2511. I know a lot of this information is probably going over your head right now, but don't despair. I will include this information in the description of this podcast so you can have all of these numbers at your hand. It is kind of difficult right now to get in touch with a live person through unemployment, but it's possible, and you may have to try several times to get in touch with them because they are swamped with calls. And I want to refer you to a young man who is offering an instructional YouTube video on how to actually talk to a live person. I will also include him and include this link in the description. The name of the person is Farzad Azima. Farzad Azima has several videos on how you can actually get in touch with a live person via unemployment using the number that I just provided. Also, if you have a disability claim and you need to resolve something, you want to call the number 800-480-3287. Again, that's 800-480-3287. That is for disability. And I believe they can also help with family leave. So those are the numbers that you would access. And again, I wish you guys luck. Do not despair. Be persistent. Do not give up. Like I said, if you haven't applied for unemployment, it's not too late. Please do so online or through your smartphone app. With that said, I want to also talk about some ways that we can cope during this time, during this pandemic. And job loss is definitely one of the things that is causing a lot of people right now to have depression, to have anxiety, to have stress. It's just unbelievable. And I know I've talked in my last podcast about calling 211 to get some information, resources to just be able to cope with anything that you are currently dealing with, whether it's depression, anxiety, stress, anything that's a result of the current pandemic. But I also want you guys to be safe. I want you guys to be in a good place. So if you are having an emergency, I just want you to know that there is help out there. Obviously, 911 is your number to go to if you are having a crisis, an emergency where you may need that extra support, and don't hesitate to call that number. If you feel like you are going to get into a dark place or even pondering suicide, there is the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, and they can be reached at 800-273-8255. Again, that's 800-273-8255. The National Suicide Prevention Hotline is a free hotline. It's confidential. You can give them a call and they can give you resources that can help. But they also can talk to you over the phone to help you go to the hospital if you need to. It is a hard time right now to be in the hospital due to COVID. It's very difficult, and I just wouldn't want you to be isolated and things like that, and being, especially when you're going through something like suicide. So definitely see if that can be your first option, to call the National Suicide Prevention. But again, if you are just in a place where you're having an emergency and it is life-threatening, please dial 911. And second resource I have for you is Therapy for Latinx. I will include that website information in the description as well. What I like about this website is that they have resources and numbers for especially for people who are in a crisis, who have or are experiencing sexual assault. It's also for people who are or were currently in the military and are dealing with trauma and things like that. So this is a good place to access. And also what I like about it is that I believe that if you are LGBTQ or bisexual, they also have numbers specifically for that if you're struggling with anything as far as, unfortunately, we're in a society that still is not open-minded, that is still not fully accepting to people of different cultures and backgrounds and things like that. So anything that you're dealing with, therapy for the Latinx community. Sorry for actually not saying that correctly the first time, but this can be a good resource for you too, a good website. You can also text 741-741. Again, that's 741-741. This is the crisis text line. You can text this line anytime. People are available 24/7 to chat with you, and they can also provide you resources, talk to you, chat with you about how you are feeling, whether you feel like you're actually going to get into a crisis or even contemplating a hard time coping with emotions. They are there to help. text 741-741. Data rates may apply, but other than that, it is a free text support line for you to call. You don't have to pay or anything like that. So those are the resources that I strongly recommend. And so I leave you with that. And I also urge you to just, like I said, apply for unemployment if you haven't already. And for more information about second stimulus, or if you are also in need of knowing more about your situation with the IRS. Some people owe money, and some people are also having anxiety about how to pay back money owed to the IRS. You can chat with somebody online via the IRS website. They can help you, and there are people that are available through IM so that you can chat and get your questions answered, and that is through irs.gov. And also there is more information about whether we will be receiving a second stimulus or not. I do know that people who were getting about $100 a week from unemployment now will be getting an additional $300. So that's good news for individuals that were only getting about $100 a week in unemployment. So $300 additional should be coming in for you. And I have more information, so please don't go anywhere right after this quick song break. And that was Electro Fight by the group Quan. You're listening to Radical Ally. I'm your host and ally, Grace Alcantar. Thank you for joining me once again for the second segment. We just talked about unemployment, how to resolve your issues if you are having issues with unemployment, what number to call, and we also talked about some resources available to help you cope during this time as you navigate the pandemic, unemployment, and other stressors in life. And so now I want to talk about the therapies that you can use to heal, to get better, and that you can use to cope with during this pandemic. So what are those type of therapies? Well, first of all, I want to say it's not just talk therapy. I know a lot of people think that talk therapy is the only therapy out there, and they probably think it's not useful because you can call your mom or you can call a good friend and talk to them. But I do want to tell you that there are different types of talk therapy. They're called psychotherapy. And the nice thing about psychotherapy is that a therapist can help you uncover things that may be causing emotional conflict today. So that's the one good thing, is that a therapist can offer, that kind of help so that you can kind of get to know yourself better and also work with your therapist on ways to heal. So I want to say psychotherapy is the way that you can heal from wounds that are affecting you from your past and present, and may even affect you as you go on in the future. So psychotherapy is definitely something that can help you if you feel like this is a fit for you. There are therapists out there. I would contact local colleges, local schools, and if you're receiving Medi-Cal, you should be able to get psychotherapy for free from different organizations. I'm not ranking any of these therapies in order of what I think is best, but I'm only just providing information so that you can see what's best for you. One of the top ones, though, that I do recommend is emotional resolution. The nice thing about emotional resolution is that it doesn't take months or years for you to resolve an emotional issue or a mental issue. It can take as little as maybe a week or 2 weeks. And emotional resolution uses your physical sensations to resolve things like phobias, anxiety, PTSD, depression, anything that you are currently struggling with. Emotional resolution might be the answer or might be able to help you with that. And another thing about this is that it is permanent. So let's say you have phobia, and the phobia is fear of flying on airplanes. This type of technique can be used to get rid of that phobia permanently. So that's what I would recommend. And Cedric Bertoli is the founder, and I will be putting his website information in the description, so you can check that out. Emotional resolution. The other thing that I also really like is what's called CBT, which stands for Cognitive Behavioral Therapy. Again, that's CBT. Cognitive Behavioral Therapy. This is a hands-on approach to therapy. Therapists will work with you to help you change your behavior and way of thinking. So you get homework from this type of therapy, and it basically caters to whatever you're facing. So it could be depression, it could be anxiety, but I think it's all a really good approach for when you're having anxiety and phobias and things like that. So CBT is a good one for that because it does change your behavior. It gets you to do things differently. It gets you to think differently, and that can also be healing and also help you to move on your stuck points so that you can also move on from the things that are being emotionally challenging in your life at the moment. And I also want to emphasize that those are just some of the therapies. There's definitely other therapies out there too. There's like ACT, and there's also couple therapy or group therapy. And with that said, I would advise you to seek a holistic approach. And what I mean with that is to combine other things to help you as you try to pick the therapy that is best for you. Holistic approach means that you would also look into meditation, acupuncture, and traditional medicine, changing your diet, and also seeking a naturalist to help you with other natural medicine that could also help you with that. And exercise as well. Exercise helps a lot too with different emotional issues. So like I said, if you are receiving Medi-Cal, therapy should be free. And with that said, there is an interesting organization that offers therapy to people of color, and this is called multilingual counseling. What I think is really great about multilingual counseling is that there are therapists who speak different languages: Farsi, Spanish, English, Mandarin. So that is a good place to start with. If you are on Medi-Cal, the therapy should be free, and it should be within your reach. I want to emphasize that people of color have different experiences from people who are white and privileged. There are other factors such as discrimination, racism, things like that, and sexism that make it even a little bit more challenging for people of color. So I think this is a great way to also find people who understand you culturally. It's very important to be understood in a cultural manner. So check that out, and I will give that information as well in the description. If you are receiving like unemployment, there are sliding scales, and again, you can check out colleges and schools. They provide what are cheaper forms of therapy. Not to say that the quality is less, because it's not. The therapy is just cheaper because these are students who are practicing, and they do have therapists that they work with at their schools. So the quality is still the same, but the prices are more affordable. So if you are considered low income, or if you are receiving unemployment at the moment, you would qualify for this type of help. And due to the pandemic, these type of therapies seem to be available right now online and over the phone. I don't think any place is offering face-to-face therapy. It is being offered through the phone and through Zoom, like online and things like that. So just one thing to keep in mind, and this may be helpful for people who are very nervous about talking with somebody in person. If you're LGBTQ, that's also something that makes it different for you. If you are struggling emotionally, you're going to be going through things. Your experience is definitely going to be different from other people's experience as you navigate with emotional conflict. So the Pacific Center in Berkeley is a great resource for that. And I do believe they are offering therapy and counseling over the phone at the moment. You can give them a call. I will include the number and the website so you can contact them. They work with teens and they work with people of all ages. Again, it is so different when you're LGBTQ or you're a person of color. Your experience with emotional conflict and different stresses in life, are definitely different from anybody that might be white or privileged. Definitely the way the dominant culture experiences things is different from the minority culture. So I leave you with that, and I do hope that these are some things that you will consider to tap into. It's never too late, like I said, to apply for unemployment, and it's never too late to get help. You might be thinking, oh my goodness, well, I've gone 40 years without talking to a counselor or getting help. It doesn't matter, because the more that you avoid things and the more you put things off, these wounds don't close. When you are struggling emotionally, when you're having mental issues, these wounds stay open. And so I do hope that you guys will take advantage of these resources so that you can feel better and that you can be more successful in your life. You deserve it. You are special. Your life matters a lot, especially during this time. You are important. And remember that this is temporary. We can and will get through this pandemic. And I know it's been a lot, even with the current fires, having to deal with smoke, bad air quality, and of course many people who have been affected directly by the fires and had to evacuate their areas. But no matter what, I believe human beings are communal. They do care about each other, and like I said, I do hope that you will take advantage of the resources, because there are organizations and people out there that care about you. So that's all I have for you. Please join me next time. And again, be safe, take care, and I look forward to giving you more information. This is Grace Alcantar.